Welcome to another Community Conversations. I'm your host, Ian Parkinson, and I'm here today with Staff Sergeant Harley Kessler from the Medhat Police Service to talk about the Peace Team. Welcome.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your interim inspector role.
Well, I appreciate it. I love the opportunity.
So the Peace Team stands for Proactive Engagement and Community Enhancement Team. I can see why you went with Peace Team. It's kind of appropriate. So what is the Peace Team?
Well, the Peace Team's a collaborative effort and a multidisciplinary approach to trying to deal with the antisocial behavior that's existing in the downtown core of Medicine Hat. And we're utilizing Alberta Health Services as well as clinicians. We're also utilizing the municipal enforcement officers with the Medicine Hat Police Service, and they're the community peace officers that work in there, as well as Parks and Recreation and Municipal Works, including the fire service, because the fire service has a key role in this as well. So in the last few years, like every city in North America, we've experienced more and more vulnerable people that are living on the streets. Yeah. And that lifestyle lends itself to certain risks, be it crime or fire. The fire service, for example, has seen, an increase in the fire response in the downtown core. So it's really a multidisciplinary approach in an effort to connect people with the resources that they need, including community housing, who is a key partner with this as well, and getting people connected to the right resources. And if we can get them into housing, if that's what they want, we can get them into housing. Some people prefer the lifestyle of having unstructured living and not being in a house. And I think the underpinning challenges that we've seen in most communities that lends itself to the being vulnerable is the addiction aspect. So we're trying to treat and connect people with who they need to connect with in an effort to bring stability to their life.
Well, vulnerable is an interesting term because when people talk about the vulnerable members of our community, they're not just vulnerable to the environment, they're also vulnerable to other less than stellar characters around them.
For sure.
Now, I seem to recall a few years ago there was a smaller style peace team. It was, I think, a police officer, the duty staff sergeant, and a social worker would go through the cells in the morning and see who needed help.
Yeah.
So you've morphed from that into this much larger organization.
Yeah. The challenges that we've had in the past with some partnerships is the sustainability of our stakeholders and our partners to maintain commitment to some of the programs. We found that particular program very useful in engaging our clients when they are the most vulnerable, because when they are at the most vulnerable stages, they're also the most receptive to help at that point too. So that concept worked. We've kind of morphed we've adapted, because at that time that was pre-COVID and we didn't see the same degree of vulnerability that we're seeing on the streets now. And so this is kind of a direct response to the increased homelessness that we had seen in our community and every community in Alberta now as well.
So then the Peace Team is kind of Medicine Hat's version of, I remember the Premier, Mike Ellis and Mickey Amery, talking about navigation centers.
Yes, yeah. And really it's that navigation piece and connecting the clients with the resources that they most need. We have great partners in this city, whether it's the Mustard Seed or the Salvation Army, that are able to connect people, whether it's getting identification for them, getting medical treatment for injuries or wounds that they might have, and any illnesses. So all of our partners are part of this social fabric that helps deliver community safety. And the Peace Team is really that concept of delivering, enhanced engagement, really, as part of the acronym stands for.
It occurs to me, I mean, we were talking about this earlier too, is that policing has moved into a completely new area of you use the term guardians, which I think is actually quite appropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still doing law enforcement, going after the bad guys, keeping the general public safe, but your skill set and focus has changed into a lot of social assistance, I guess.
Yeah, policing. So Ian, I've been doing it for 33 years, going on 34 years, and it really have migrated from the law enforcement perspective to what I like to call the guardian role, where we do play that guardianship role of the community, and we really do act as peacekeepers. So the police aren't necessarily always the best one to deal with social issues, but what I've found traditionally in policing, the police are really good at bringing people together and making those connections where they need them, because we're kind of in and out of people's lives for such a sporadic and a short period of time during an acute phase, and then we leave, and then sometimes there's just like a wake behind us that needs to be managed. So it's really, policing is a guardianship role, but it's also very collaborative in an ability to try to be more effective at what we deliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then is there a peace team leader?
Yes. So the peace team leader is our municipal enforcement, our community peace officers. They've been tasked with the leadership role, and they meet at 7:00. They head out to the encampments, and when they head out there, the goal is, again, collaborative and connecting people with the social assistance that they need. But we found, like historically, the police do a really good job of that leadership piece and connecting. So that's why they're tasked with it.
So the municipal peace officer, most people refer to as bylaw.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic too, because they are so much more than bylaw.
Yes.
Their appointment is quite expansive, but this has been really done very well with one of the community peace officers, CPO Skaken, who has really taken the leadership role in this, has done a great job, because historically, whether it's been problem houses that we've dealt with, or other multi-dimensional responses, we found that the key piece of the puzzle is often municipal enforcement, because there are bylaws in every community that can regulate behavior and regulate the community standards. So that is really why they're in the leadership role.
Yeah, well, retired police chief Andy McGrogan always referred to his municipal police peace officers as the good neighbor guys, just trying to keep everybody happy.
Yes, as I spill my drink.
So this is actually grown, because it's not just Medicine Hat City Police, Medicine Hat municipal peace officers, but now if I look at the unsightly or the drug houses, now the province is involved, and you've got ACERT and municipal government affairs. So this is a lot more than just stopping the bank robbers.
It really is, because when you look at even the governmental and the policy driven stuff is really driven more at public safety and community safety. So we're seeing that with our last couple of governments, that community and public safety is becoming more and more to the forefront, but policing not necessarily owning all of it.
Yeah, well, you've only got so much budget and so many police officers.
And the challenge with policing, it's the biggest budget line in every municipality. It's a costly venture. And how do we deliver that policing in an effective and yet efficient way? Because we owe it to the taxpayer and the ratepayer to be efficient with our money and really be guardians of that we're entrusted to spend. So that's a key part of the puzzle too, right?
Well, it is, and it speaks well of Medicine Hat Police Service and their peace team, because in doing my research into today's interview, you are doing this with no extra budget.
No.
This is all your in-house or local service communities who are providing whatever you need.
And with that, I mean, it creates other challenges when you have people that are dedicated, because somewhere else in the organization downstream, you're going to have other business issues that arise, whether it be staffing, because you're committed to this during the months of fair weather between April and October. There are other places of the building that do suffer for sure, and so other people take on that work. So it really is a balancing act to effectively deliver policing, but not overwork the people that are doing the core policing and the core service delivery, which includes bylaws. Because what people don't realize about with bylaw enforcement, they're on the pointy end between neighbors that often can't get along, and they're mediating stuff that it's emotional. Bylaws have always been emotional, and so their job is tough on a good day. And so it's like a shell game trying to move your staffing around so that you don't have a huge impact on the budget as well.
Well, and you don't want to burn your staff out.
No, you
either.
don't. Yeah.
Yes, we realize you're excited about this, but you've had your 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You get to go over here. Medicine Hat City Police has been on a huge, actually, recruiting program, for a better word. I think you've had graduates now for the last 3 years.
Yes.
Do you find the younger, I use the term constables, come with a different attitude, perception of policing from when you were 30 years ago?
They're way better than we are.
Really?
Yeah, I think they are. I think they're like anything. The newer generations should be better, but I think we do a better job of that customer service training as well. So I would say probably the quality of the individuals is much better. They're highly educated, and they're coming from diverse backgrounds. And when I speak diversity, it's not just ethnicity, but they're coming from diverse experiences, whether we have officers that have had a career in the British military, or they've come from social services. One of the last patrol team I worked on, one of our members was a social worker before policing. And in my mind, I'm like, wow, that is exactly what we need in modern policing at this point.
They are more socially aware, I think, of the issues, and more.
I love the younger generation. They're easy to manage, and they have expectations of their leaders, but they make it real easy because they're not afraid to have difficult discussions with their bosses.
Boy, have we come a long way.
Oh yes, yeah. I know. Before you just suffer, and not offer your opinion. But I think it's just the younger generation and the quality of the people. Recruiting gets better and better with every generation, because you have more and more research to rely on what you're looking for, better academia processes, but you're also getting a training environment that is very much driven. We call it authentic training and authentic assessments, where we put them in scenarios that are common scenarios that they will experience on their job, and to give them the skills that by the time they do hit the street, then they are well prepared. You know what, I've been here. I've handled this complaint. I remember this. Whether it ranges from dealing with intoxicated persons to difficult people in a lineup at the front desk of the station.
If somebody has, forgive me, the only word that comes to mind, if somebody thinks somebody's camping somewhere they shouldn't, or there's a vulnerable person they've seen wandering around the subdivision that doesn't fit into they're a stranger, who do they call?
A lot of those come into us as suspicious persons.
Yeah.
And, it's such a vague term, suspicious person, because what you and I might think are suspicious, the next person might not. But we get a lot of those calls a day. So I would encourage people just to call the police service, there's a suspicious person in my neighborhood. They don't belong here. But I would encourage people to just call the police service, the non-emergency line.
Yeah.
Because it's non-emergent. And because we're finding people that we would typically connect with in the downtown, we're seeing them in different parts of the community all over the place. So we're living in a mobile community, but I would just encourage people to call the police service and report it as a suspicious person, or
before it escalates.
Yeah. And time permitting, it kind of falls within our queue that we work within, and it would be a lower priority, but we would get to it and investigate. And
You mentioned the word research. I remember the downtown patrol unit gave a presentation at the police commission a couple of months ago. There's a young lady, you'll forgive me, I forget her name, who is a systems analyst for the city, and did some kind of research project that tied a lot of these numbers and issues and areas together.
They're probably talking about our crime analyst, Amber Thompson.
That's the young lady.
Amber is the heart and soul of our police service. She really is. She started here in 2011, and we've really tried to migrate more to evidence-based policing and intelligence-led policing, and looking at data and facts rather than making assumptions, right?
Yeah.
So a cop's intuition is really good, fairly accurate of, putting your thumb in the air and going, I think this is what's going on. But she really provides the data to go, yeah, this is happening or it's not happening. And with that, then we can develop strategies based on her analysis of the situation. But I got to tell you, Amber she is the heart and soul of our police service.
Well, we shall have to have her on and talk about what she does.
Yes.
Because Inspector Secondiak also mentioned back in late winter, early spring, that they were developing, for a better word, an intelligence section.
Yep. So what we did with our intelligence section is we used to have a full-time intelligence unit. Coincidentally, I actually used to manage it. And but with other needs that were going on in 2015, we kind of abandoned our traditional criminal intelligence unit, and it became more drug-oriented. But what we've migrated to is a patrol intelligence concept where we have 2 intelligence officers on each patrol team. So that gives us 8 officers that are involved in intelligence gathering and feeding that information back to the analyst so that she can analyze it. And part of those relationships are also with other stakeholders that we have, whether it be the Alberta Sheriff's SCAN team or their fugitive apprehension team. So we've tried to develop that and in a way to create a little bit of that it's an organic relationship, not too structured, but also we're trying to just increase our collection points where we can get information because we've kind of lost that ability to do that. But again, try to be more intelligence led in an effort to attack the real issues.
Yeah, it's a bit of a dynamic scenario.
It is. And intelligence is like such a nebulous term, but with the more and more that you learn about intelligence and intelligence gathering and the intelligence cycle, it's a key part of policing now, and it's a very important piece.
Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I enjoyed this opportunity to talk to you. When I talked a little bit earlier about our guardian mentality, I just wanted to recollect a story that I recall from when I was a patrol sergeant on the street. But we had a client in the downtown core of Medicine Hat who was a transient, and we began to deal with her with quite a bit of a frequency, almost every day. But one night I was on patrol, and I happened to see her sleeping behind a store in the downtown. And Hark, being a guardian, I thought, well, I'll watch her sleep because, like with her lifestyle, it exposes her to a greater risk of assault, criminality, and being victimized. And, so I was sitting there watching her, and then down the alley, I saw another police vehicle, and I pulled up to the officer. It was Constable Matt Sanders, who is an excellent officer as well. And I said to him, you're watching her sleep, aren't you? And he goes, well, yeah. And
somebody has to,
right? And so part of our job in policing really as guardians is protecting those who can't protect themselves.
And you do it very well.
Yeah, we try. We really try. And that's the part that people don't see in policing is the care and the thought that our officers have when they're out working every day.
Well, I would never have thought I'd see a Medicine Hat city police officer in Guardians of the Universe. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Please be safe.
Will do.
This was another Community Conversations. Thank you for watching.